Hello. So today what we're going to do is we're going to look at the S2 engine. This is a commercial game engine and I just bought it. I launched it a few minutes ago and just took a quick poke around so that I wouldn't waste a whole bunch of time doing this overview of it. Haven't really used it yet. However, it does look promising. There's a few pros to it I've seen already and a couple of cons I've noticed. But it was really cheap. It was like 18 bucks on Steam. It was a package deal. I pretty much bought it for the Hawse generator so that I can build a bunch of buildings and export them and use them in other projects of mine. But that being said, now that I've poked around in it a little bit, it's actually got some real potential to make like single player games and things. First person shooter type, third person shooter type, puzzle solving, that sort of stuff. It does have some scripting abilities to it and stuff. So there is some functionality there. I don't know how good that is yet. I really haven't dug into it, but I'm going to give you an overview. So here we go. I'm going to launch this. And we've got a bunch of different types of projects we can choose. I did open up this one, this sample project. But what I'm going to do is I could open. Let's see, I could do this third person. Yeah. I'm going to open the medieval town sampler and I'm going to take a look at it because that came as bundled content in it, and we might as well take a look at what those buildings look like. Takes a minute to open. It is a little bit slow, and that could be because of my ATI driver. So right out of the get-go, when you open the project, you've got video tutorials, official manual, their Facebook page, their developers group, official site, and you can click don't show or whatever, but I'll probably leave it open for myself so I can go through some of these video tutorials. However, I don't need to do that right now. So then it opens up and it's asking about scenes. So a project in this S2 editor can contain multiple scenes. You could transition from scene to scene. You can have a scene for like an opening GUI. I believe you could play movies now. I think he's added that functionality to this engine. Like I said, I'll have to dive in to find out more about how this all works. But what I'm going to do is, these are just empty scenes here. I can create a new scene. I'm going to open this scene. Actually, doesn't take too long to open. And what we've got is this scene. Now, to move around, it's inside the editor. It's WSAD. And like most editors, things are clickable as a trigger. This looks like a timer, a wake trigger. This is character 02. This might be my character, actually. I'm not sure. I think that's my starting location. One thing you could tell, it has pretty beautiful graphics. Like you could see, even in the previewer, the grass moves and light reflections and building reflections and things in the viewer. The trees look pretty decent. They are cross-polyed trees. I'm not sure where these came from or who made them originally, but you know, they're pretty decent. Again, there's some more reflections of this building here. Yeah, more trees there. I don't know if I'm just gonna roll to the ground. One thing I've noticed, you could probably configure it, is that the right click to rotate is extremely sensitive. So I'm just going to roll out of here. Looks like there's a painted road on there. There's a texture. And there is an ocean. And there's some ocean cliffs or whatever. And a basic geometry terrain laid down. I do not see any rivers or anything. There's something over there. I don't know what that is. Oh, that might be just this terrain. Anyway, I'm going to zoom back in here. They have painted down a road. You get a pretty good idea of what we're dealing with. And I'm just going to jump in and do a little walk around there. So, like most game engines, you've got your, right here we're on placement. This is the placement. Here's your toolbar up here. There's other tools available in here. and you can get to any of them. Most of them are available here as well. This is the preview button here. That's the ground materials. You can throw different textures down. I don't know how to set up your animation or anything like that yet, but right here you can see we're in the night, the day. I'm going to go down to the water. See what the water looks like. Fog color, clouds, smoke, weather. The watercolor set pretty dark. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to come over here. I'm going to leave it darkish, but I'm going to go to a little more of a tealy. I'm going to go about there. Yeah, a little more of a tealy color on the water. Just give it a little more of a less of a dark European ocean and just a little more of a brighter ocean. And yeah, I'm just going to jump in and we're going to take a look around now. So here we go. We're in first person mode and you can see those reflections change. You can see those reflections move through the water as I walk. You can see the wind. There's a little bit of leaves. Turn back if you want to start raining. Okay. There's some torch lights. So it's got nice lighting effects. There's some particle effects for the flame. There's seagulls up in the sky. That well looks pretty good. Wet ground all around it. Shadows are moving a little bit with the wind of the leaves. The leaves are moving, so we can adjust that. Let's just escape. And I believe that I can actually turn up my wind here. Actually, I want to come down here just a little bit. Puddle level. Can I not affect my puddle levels? There we go. And I'm going to turn my wind strength up a little bit. And I can turn, rain's fine, we'll leave that there. What else did I want to affect? My daylight. Daylight, sun scale 5. There, 5.41. A little bit brighter. There we go. So I turned up my puddles a little bit. You know, a little bit of ripples on them. I'm not sure how much of a difference that made. You can see the textures here. Turn back if you want it to start raining. Take a little looky-loo through here. So the trees aren't too bad. That bark looks pretty good. Grass is moving. I might have turned the brightness up just a hair more. And of course you could set up your own textures for the ground and stuff. You can totally do that. Change the scalability. I'm just trying to head down to this. I want to see the ocean here now. Quickly. I'm pretty impressed with the water in this. I haven't quite figured out how to lay rivers down, rivers and roads, but they do have them, and they are there, so it's pretty cool. That's one thing I'll give this that Game Guru Max doesn't have. They're both single player, focused on first person. This one does allow for third person. And this one also lets you put rivers in. And in my opinion, that's one of the big flaws in Game Guru Max. Is you've got one plane of water and one plane only. You can't put in rivers or creeks or streams. So yeah, I don't know why the developer went with that choice. It seems rather silly to me. You want rivers and streams. Well, look at this. Look at this quality right here. Now that is some good looking water. It's even got some surf and some chop to it. It's got a good amount of reflection. But look at that. You got surf as it hits the ground. I mean, it's not Unreal Engine quality water, but this is darn good. Like, this looks pretty realistic from a lot of games. You've got a lot of chop happening there, and it looks good as it hits the coastline. That's pretty much what a guy wants to look for. Now, there's not a real beach here. The grass runs into it, so I can't really tell. However, it does look pretty good. So now we're going to exit out of there. Now what I'm going to show you is I am going to, where am I here? Go over to the town. I just want to demo a couple of these tools for you so you can see that it's a pretty capable engine. There we go. The road comes up down here. So that road, oh, where am I? The right rotate is so sensitive. Alright, there we go. There we go. And so that road is, this road is painted down with the roads tool. So if I come over here to terrain, and I go here, roads, then I could put roads down, tracks, this was probably tracks, roads track mountain 2, roads track mountain 2, rivers. Let's see if I could figure out how to put a river in. Add a river, empty, assign, plants, roads, trees, stones, terrains, in roads, river flow. There we go, river. Open. Perfect. Alright. Now I'm going to make it pretty deep there, maybe not. Width, I want to go there. And now how do I move it? This is what I don't know how to do. What is selected? Grass, trees, plants. There we go. Okay. Oh. Something like that. Make it go like that. Make it go like that. Sure. I have no idea how that's gonna look, but we're just gonna use that. Perfect. Okay, perfect. Let's see how that looks. If it even looks. It looks like it's in there, so let's wander out of town here real quick. But the bump mapping and stuff looks pretty good in these models, so that definitely looks like good rock and half decent timber. Of course, half of it is the modeling quality rather than the render engine. Most engines now can render really decently. Come on, run along the road now. Yeah, bark looks pretty good. Those trees look half decent. They're not the greatest trees ever, but who knows what the resource use is on them, and who made them, right? So I'm sure that if you had your own trees and you brought them in, you'd be pretty good. I think this has a vegetation creator too in it, though, so it looks like maybe my river's there. I don't know how good it is, but we're just going to take a looky-loo and see. Yeah, it's there. It's definitely not spectacular. I'd want to conform that ground a bit better and align it. I'm sure there's a lot of playing around, and I made that end a little bit jiggy. But with that being said, I definitely have a river. Let's just see river width. Let's make it wider. River max distance. Turn that up. I don't know what this river bias does. Oh. I see. That's like the intensity of the flow or something. Okay. Well, let's go to terrain. Let's just see if we can tweak this a little bit. Let's go to terrain. And what I want to do is, instead of placement, let's go terrain. Come on, why was so placement? Terrain brush. Whoa, I need to go terrain. I need to change the size of this terrain brush here. Where is... Still too big. Okay. I need to rotate this out. Zoom out a little bit here. Okay. Let's turn this up. Come on, one. There we go. There we are. Yeah. It's fine. I want to change that color though to more of a, let's go to a bit of a browny gray, something like that. There we go. Make it a little darker underneath here. Pretty cool. Okay. Now then, I just want to come over here. Why is it not letting me change is the thing. I want to change. Tools. I want to go to terrain. I'm on the terrain tab. That's where I want to be. Okay, perfect. So now, radius brush, turn you way down to 1. And we want to go outside of that. And then I want to go minimize. Oh, hey, whoa. That's not what I wanted. Sorry, super sensitive right mouse brush here. It's, sorry, it's control and click to lower. So I'm going to lower that in the middle there. Okay, now I want to come over here to smooth. And I don't want 10. 1 again. Okay. And that's probably enough to get the gist of it. Let's just move the player character a little closer here. And then we're going to take a look at that. Here we go. Placements. Okay. Go to class. I want to click on move. Drag you right up to there. Play. Now we're going to give that a test run. We're way more out of town now. We're right close to the river. And you can see, with just a little bit of tweaking, that actually looks pretty good. So you could see actually the river would flow around rocks and things if you place them in there. Now that, of course, that doesn't look very good there because it didn't raise it, but if I come up here, where I've ruffled up the bed and smoothed it around and stuff, it looks a little bit better. And that's just barely touching the surface. Like that's, you saw how much time I put into that. There wasn't much time there. So it's got a river system. So again, I don't know why Game Guru Max doesn't have a system like this. Like it would be so easy for them to implement, I'm thinking. Now I haven't built one myself, so I don't know for sure. But almost every other engine out there has some spline-based mechanism for adding rivers. So I just don't know why Lee hasn't added it, but you know what? Hopefully they do in future updates. It would be great to have something more than just a single body of water in there. But in the meantime, if you need to do river work and you want to do first-person shooter or third-person shooter, this is capable of both, but it is a single-player engine. And it doesn't have the behaviors, I don't think, the same as Game Guru Max does. I believe this is like some pre-scripted actions and controls, but I haven't played around with that enough yet to know. So basically, you got a good tour of the editor. You saw me muck around a little bit, figure out how to put a river in and to change the ocean color and stuff. So touching the basics of it. I do believe this engine has some potential, and it was dirt cheap, and it came with all the assets. It's even got like a little house builder thing or a building builder. It's great for like apartment buildings and stuff. Okay for houses. I did play around with that for like 10 minutes too. It's a little funky on the navigation and stuff. Like you'd think you click on terrains and it would just go right into terrains for you. But here it kind of sort of does, but then you can click back on class or just select an object. So it is interesting, but it does have a terrain editor, but that terrain editor basically lets you edit, I believe, a height map that you bring in. It's not like it's a giant, just a mesh, and you can play around with the mesh. I think it is a height map. I could be wrong with that though. But either way, you bring in a base height map, and then you can edit it to your heart's content. It's not a big deal as long as you can edit the terrain. So yeah, that is the S2 engine overview. It has a lot of potential, but only if you want to do single player games. If you want to do single player games, it has a lot of potential. And it's got a standard FBX importer and things like that. And you can create your own materials and objects. So here you can see all the object listing on this side, the material listings on this side, widgets, gun, knife, mace. Those that have logic attached to them, I'm pretty sure. Let's just take a look. Open the gun. Yeah, so there's stuff attached to it here. Audio, behavior. Yeah, so there are behavior scripts. So you can attach a behavior script to different objects and things. So yeah, of course that takes a bit more figuring out than what I've done tonight. But basically you've got an overview of the S2 engine. And you know, it's so dirt cheap. I really recommend if you're into make it first person or third person shooter, survival, crafty type, whatever, give it a go. It's, you know, it's like, it was $18 US, I think, so, you know, less than 30 bucks Canadian, and that came with the building builder, this medieval town pack, a basic get started gameplay pack, and a few sample levels with assets and objects. So, you know, out of the box, you can learn a game engine that's relatively easy to learn and jump right in and do something constructive. You'll feel very productive on day one. So anyway, have a great day, and we will see you in the next one.